come in uh, and make sure that things are running as planned. Although, actually,
Sounds good.
I forgot to put it to our little starting one because I already had the match set up and everything. There, I forgot to put it to. All right. Seems like
You
everything
should have
is.
add,
Hmm?
you should have added like tiny signs saying that Ray did nothing wrong.
I figured this is your platform to talk about how Ray did nothing wrong. If Ray did truly do nothing wrong, you know.
It's not the Ray, it's the people that abuse the Ray.
The people, the spammer noobs of the world.
Exactly.
So, let's see. We got Jim, we got Noun. So, we'll start. We'll start in about 5 minutes. So, I guess I'll give you this time. Do you have anything else to say on the issue of Ray and how the people have abused a poor innocent worm?
I actually do not have any insightful comments beyond that. Ray is a very special card and holds a dear meaning to everything Vitruvian. And honestly, I think the reassembled nerf was wrong because now people turn their attentions to Ray, and Ray did honestly nothing wrong. It's just a guy that wants to hug you and dispel your things.
Yeah, Spammer Noob agrees with you. You've got supporters here, and someday you'll turn the entire MDL against me. I'm sure.
Yes, so please donate to the Ray did nothing wrong hashtag defense.
Well, in that case, let's get to our first match. You're wondering what matches we're casting today? Today we have Squee9 versus Magister Siren, Rockin versus your boy Josh, and Riverath versus Poncho Sr. Stug Rooster. So we're going to be starting it out with Squee versus Magister in a Battle of the Lion R.
Oh, this is some Brome. I haven't seen Brome in a while.
Yeah, and actually, from the mulliganing that you do not see, Magister Siren's actually playing a Bond list.
A band list.
Yeah,
Ironclaves.
apparently going so far as to play Ironcliff Heart. Squee is on a Titan list, Titan variant.
Yeah, the more popular gunflyer, I would.
Did I say Poncho Senior? I meant Mango Senior. Who's to say? But all right, starts here are pretty normal. Azurite Lion, Silver Guard Knight. You know, probably the
Yeah, nothing too weird.
yep, probably the strongest like 2 and 3 drop. You know, single cards. They could start a game out. And then, well, this is a little bit interesting. I mean, you probably just play a Dialtis somewhere. I like playing the Dialtis so that it's able to trade with the Silver Guard, preferably.
So if you're Squee and you see Brome as a Titan player, do you scream?
Do a what?
Scream.
Do I scream? Mm.
Like,
I don't think I do. I don't think I do. I kind of think. Yeah, I don't know if I scream because I think I'm just playing the mirror. Probably if I see like a Brome that starts with a Silver Guard Knight, you know, and I don't think that's a reason to. Well, I guess maybe I do scream. Maybe I do, uh, because they're gonna hit 7 mana before me, and that is reason enough. Alright. So, not necessarily what I think Magister Siren wants to be doing, but probably about the most they can do here.
Yeah, it seems pretty okay move to me. And he still face damage, and you get to contest the mana tile and so on forth. The spawn is a bit unfair, but still.
Yeah. And this is actually something that I liked less about Squeeze positioning, was that they took the mana tile away from Magister Siren, but they also kind of took one of the mana tiles away from themselves, while still leaving Magister with the bottom mana tile open. So I think they could have probably chosen to, you know, just play the Dialtus in a place where it would actually be able to trade with the Silver Guard. Because imagine how much more awkward Magister's turn would have been if they couldn't just like Holy Immolation away the Dialtus's body. They would have had to
So
play
you mean like moving down and like threatening the mana tile, or something like those lines?
Yeah, they would have just been able to like Sun Wisp plus Sun Bloom or something.
Mm.
Here, yeah, I'm not surprised to see a Kron coming down. Especially since they've already seen one of the Holy Immolations go away. Means less likely there's going to be another one.
And he instantly spreads out his units.
Yep. Though Magister Siren actually has a really cute play here. Yeah, with attack into punch with face into Ironcliff Heart. Just turn their 3-1 into a 3-10. Ah, they're not going for it. Saving that Ironcliff Heart, I guess, for another day.
He wanted
off
his
of...
dreams to be true.
Yeah. I will say, it is a fairly effective clear, though.
Pizza here is pretty important against Titan.
Yeah. It's true, it's true. But you gotta play your spice. If you're gonna run the spice, you gotta play the spice.
That's what I've always like think like, if you cannot like play like if you can win without visions, you still should play the visions.
Exactly.
Just that's why you run the card.
Yep. You don't run it to not play it. And I think I agree with Chad here that it probably would have been safer on Squeeze part to not provoke the Silver Guard with the Kron, because the Tombstone was already provoking the Silver Guard Knight, and so if they had chosen to use the Azerite line to position the Kron like over, I think Magister is like back here. If they'd used the Azerite line to put the Kron like here and the Silver Guard was here, then they just wouldn't have been able to use the Silver Guard Knight to attack it without having a lot more. Squee is still pretty ahead, though. You know, it's definitely not a huge loss here. And interesting... Okay, they are playing the Ironcliff Heart. I thought for a second they played an Aegis Barrier, but I think they just replaced an Aegis Barrier. Alright.
But to be honest, if I were like Squee and I would be seeing this kind of setup, I won't be super comfortable with my position.
Yeah, especially because this seeing an Ironcliff Heart means you have to respect the fact that there could be a Divine Bond. They're only at 17. And, you know, a hit from an Ironcliff is 15, or is 13 already, so that leaves them with 4 life.
Yeah.
So,
But on the other hand, he doesn't have like really easy clears with his cards right now, and he hasn't drawn to his Titan yet.
No.
It's gonna be tanking some damage anyway, without or with the bond.
Yeah. Let's see, how much can they deal here? They can do 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they can deal 7 damage to the Ironcliff if they want to, or they can just dispel it, which is okay, but not great.
This doesn't reduce the health pool any. He's still a big guy on the board.
Yeah. I will say, though, if Squee had a Titan in hand, this would be a pretty demanding board to get rid of.
Mm. So I guess the CRN is feeling the pressure more right now.
Yeah. Well, that being said, all they really need... Well, even with a Holy Immolation, actually, they'd still have quite a bit to deal with. So,
yeah,
they need even more. Oh, there's a Divine Bond.
yeah,
Are we...
a bit too late.
Well, is it? After Blaze into Divine Bond, how much is this?
That's only like 11 damage.
Is it only 11? No, it's 15 with face.
Yeah, with face, yeah.
Actually, but they need to use face to clear the Silver Guard. And Squee did not hit the Titan here. So, looks like they're going to have to trade some amount of resources into this Ironcliff Guardian.
But he can pretty effectively block with his cheaper minions here and play Kron and that kind of thing, so it's not
Yeah. I mean,
super bad anyway.
And actually, the Scorn is really nice here because you can just trade, the Lightbender in and then, like, run 2 away. And then, like, Scorn Azure Herald. Put yourself up to 7. And this is one of the dangers of, going in on your Ironcliff combos before they're ready.
Yeah. Seems like he's going for the Kron Herald play.
Yeah, no. Kron is actually probably even better. Kron onto an empty board is fairly backbreaking.
He doesn't get the replays, I think, but still.
That's true. This is not looking good for Siren at the moment.
This has been actually pretty, like, low-key game with all those low-cost minions.
Yeah.
This isn't like how liner matchup usually go.
No. And interesting, a Soul Piercer comes down. Bloodtear Alchemist to take out the Kron.
Well, Soul Pierce is pretty much a clock ticking right now.
Yeah. Although again, this Blistering Scorn is like pretty insane. You just roar the Azure Herald and then Blistering Scorn, clear your opponent's board, or you replace it. I don't know that I agree with that.
Well, he can play Paragon and then trade the Herald, which is, I think, his plan.
Yeah, but you could have just traded. Like, I liked having a 4/4 on the board more than a 3/2. Was essentially my thought. Because you could have done this play with the Scorn. I guess you would have been at 1 less life. Is the
I think
downside.
That's
But I think having having a minion that they can't clear with their face is gonna save you more damage in the long run. I think that's a more important.
But Siren only has like 1 card, so it feels to me that you just kind of need to survive.
Yeah, but
you
that
have
1
the
card's an
better
Ironcliff. As we saw with the last big hit they took, doesn't take that much.
You cannot believe that they only have Bloodtear Alchemist. Yeah, this is kind of very awkward, right?
Yeah.
Ironcliff to Ironcliff.
What's also awkward is not being able to find your Titan and running out of cards. It's kind of interesting that even though at this point Magister Siren is like on lower, like has a lower life total, they're still definitely the aggressor here, as Squee is just desperately looking for this stupid Titan to kind of give them that late game power.
Well, that's kind of the risk you run into when you just run 1 win condition in you.
Yeah.
Which is not Wanderer.
Yeah, well, slightly less consistent. Alright. Trying to build up some more stats. I don't know how I feel about attacking with the Herald there. I feel like you could have kept it alive. You know, just forced Magister to deal with more minions. Well, alright. This is not looking great, even with a Titan now. Although I guess with a Titan, you can clear one of them, take 1 damage. No, Titan would still be a really strong play here.
But can you afford to replace the Tigris anymore?
I think you have to replace it. The only thing you can get that gives you any sort of chance is Titan. But
Sentinel is in the wrong place.
yeah. Although, honestly, I don't know if the placement of the Sentinel would make that much of a difference in the end, because this is a pretty tight lock, and there's an Aperian's Claim. So, although it really makes me wonder what would have happened if they'd hit the Titan. I guess they would have just claimed the Sentinel and the Titan and started bashing Archean in the face with the Ironcliff Guardian. They could have even finished the job with the Crestfallen over there. So we need successive Titans to get out of this, with the Aperian's Claim being drawn.
Yeah, the Titan should have come way earlier than this. Because it feels to me that even if Sieran is also running low on cards, he just has a lot more stuff to do with the cards he draws, whereas Squee only has like 1 card minions that are usually cheap.
And Squee accepts that the end is nigh.
The honorable acceptable.
Well, it's actually the separate but still honorable. Give your opponent the chance to kill you in whatever way they see fit. But I actually I like Magister Sieran's chances in this round, because, I mean, Titan just has such a problem dealing with, like, big successive minions, and if they've gone so far as to play, like, Ironcliff Heart with Brome, that's just a lot of Ironcliffs to work your way through.
Do you think he picked the Heart just because Titan has been pretty popular?
I don't know. I mean, that's certainly like a meta call for it. I was thinking more, you know, just like, who doesn't want more Ironcliff Guardians?
It's a fair point, especially for drawing upon.
Yeah. I wonder if they're playing. I know CD has played variants of this where they play like Tigris and stuff to get rush Ironcliffs. I didn't see those in Magister Sieran's list, but.
Rush Ironcliffs with Bond. Just imagine the nightmare.
Yeah. Alright. I won this coin flip in that I don't have to go back out and reset up the match. So it will be in just a second. And ooh, that's an interesting card out of Magister Sieran's list. They are running Prominence, which we were just talking about how Titan has trouble dealing with, like, just large amounts of stats, and Prominence is certainly large amounts of stats. You've also got the Aperian's Claim still in the deck, which are very efficient at actually dealing with Titan boards. And it's a benefit for Sieran, because Sieran didn't have to show that they're running Aperian's Claim.
Yeah, that's true, but I think you kinda figure that one out, though.
I don't know, because Aperian's Claim isn't just like, you know, oh, we're always going to have this card, and ooh, this is pretty rough. We've got the turn 2 Ironcliff into the turn 3 Ironcliff with no turn 1 play from Squee. Although I wasn't paying attention at the very start. They might have had the Blood Tier and chose not to play it, which I'm vehemently against people choosing not to play turn 1 Blood Tiers in general. Even if, yes, they can be useful elsewhere, like, especially if your hand looks like this, you know.
Yeah.
They could have ramped into Dialtis, they could have ramped into Spelljammer, they could have ramped into a whole lot, and, well, now they're just going to be facing some big boys without much to do. Although, they're not out of big boys of their own. We see the Titan, the Kron, the Ironcliff of their own. So this is
Yeah,
a bit of a stat battle.
but I think Ironclad wins the stat battle, to be honest. In most cases. I miss 10 health.
Yeah.
And it has massive shoulder pads.
I think it depends. I think it depends on how much Magister Siren is able to kind of play aggressive. Because if you look at it, I mean, if both players had the time to play out their hands, Squee would win this. But I think that the tempo just isn't on their side right now.
It kind of goes back to the point of like having played that Bloodtear Alchemist, he could have emptied his hand a bit more effectively than he did now. And one turn.
Yep. No, definitely. And what do you even do here? I mean, you're down a game, like, and that definitely has some, like, mental pull on you to not be like, not like this, or just feel like not like this, not just the divine bond, please.
Yeah. But I think you just kind of have to play for your win conditions here.
This is pretty rough, though. Also, wow, I just realized Magister Siren... Oh, no, they don't have mismatched Ironcliff Guardians. It is because of the Ironcliff Heart that their Ironcliff Guardians don't all have the skin. I thought they were really trying to get at the fans. Also, dang. I actually like this. I like playing this Ironcliff Heart instead of just the Ironcliff Guardian because it lets them take advantage of the third Ironcliff Guardian having airdrop. Because this is, like, you know, about what the position they'd want it to be in. So.
Yeah, the airdrop has always been a pretty big deal. In subtle.
Yeah, you know, it's... The airdrop part of Ironcliff Guardian is, like... something
it's
that
very
is...
understated, yeah.
Yeah, right? You don't think about it. You think about it as, like, oh, it's a big dumb minion with stats that has Provoke. But, like, the way you position it and the way that it can be postured aggressively or defensively depending on how you're feeling, you know, really adds to the depth of the card, and, you know.
Yeah. Also, one of the reasons I think the liner was very backbreaking in the early days of the game, just because of the airdrop and the bond and everything else. It's just very difficult to deal with because it just cannot run away from it.
Yeah. No, and especially in the days of 3 damage Tempest, just clear the board, slam a cliff. Easy.
Yeah.
Squee is saying the Bloodtear Alchemist was the draw at the end of turn 1, so we did just miss that. Okay.
Okay.
I am willing to believe that, because we were talking about prominence and Aperian's claim during Squee's turn 1. So, alright, that's a pretty effective clear on an Ironcliff. They've already demonstrated that they probably don't have a bond, because they didn't deal you 1,000,000 damage last turn when they had the opportunity to.
Still gonna be pretty awkward the next turn.
Yeah. I don't like moving the Ironcliff there. You could have moved the Ironcliff 2 back, and then the Tombstone would have just been stranded.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Magister Siren throwing down the shades, but actually, I think they should have sideboarded out Aegis Barrier. Your opponent's playing Titan. They're not going to target it with any spells. That is, you know, part of their game plan, not targeting it with any spells. So.
That's a very valid point, yes. But it's still a 1-mana spell, so, you know, spells.
Yeah.
And it puts the nice blue effect around your minion, so it's kind of like...
That's true. I mean, the thing that I think it is still there for is that it does cycle. And so if you're playing a kind of... I mean, this is definitely a deck that's looking to kill them with Divine Bond, and it's a very effective way of... Well, you know, it's a cantrip for 1 mana. That's as effective as anything.
But still.
Yeah. But yeah, if they had moved the bottom Ironcliff back 1 more, then this would have been such a back-breaking position. Because the Tombstone wouldn't have been effective at all.
It's the War of the Iron Cliffs.
Yeah. Although a 5-3 or a 5-10 Iron Cliff is much better than a 3-10 Iron Cliff, I will say.
That is true.
You know, killing them in 2 hits rather than killing them in 3. It's a pretty big deal.
But 13-10 Iron Cliffs are much better than 5-10.
I remember
With
back in the
Aegis
day.
barrier.
I remember back in the day when people actually played Iron Cliff, having battles of just like, you know, who can slam their Iron Cliff, and then one of the only good times to use a Divine Bond would be to clear an Iron Cliff because it was the only thing that could actually clear an Iron Cliff. Also, we were talking about prominence generating stats. There's your friendly neighborhood stat monster.
So I heard you were playing Titan.
Yep. And Titan... Oh, there's the Divine Bond.
I think Divine Bond is kind of like afterthought at this point. If their prominence doesn't get cleared.
Yeah. Even with Titan, prominence can't be cleared this turn. Because the Iron Cliff and Argeon have to go into the Iron Cliff. The big issue is that now all these guys have Provoke. Oh, choosing not to clear the Iron Cliff. You can put the Iron Cliff to 1? Yeah, I guess that's fine, and you keep your, you get better positioning on the Tombstone. I like this.
Yeah.
And you set up the, you can set up the Titan itself pretty nicely to just clear the prominence next turn. Magister Siren doesn't have BBS up, and you deny them even if they had Cryptographer or something weird.
I'm
is this
trying
just
to figure
lethal
out
now?
if there's some nice lethal here, but I don't think so.
No, I think there is, because you can clear the Tombstone by attacking it with your Iron Cliffs. Yeah, and then you just Divine Bond the Silverguard Knight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So Magister was able to keep that tempo up just enough to get them to Divine Bond lethal.
Yeah, it's kind of hard when you have like 3 Iron Cliffs too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, just look at how many stats are still on the board at the end of the game there. On like both sides. It's not like one side it's like, oh man, I've run out of stats. It's just like everybody's playing all these minions that don't die. So I for one always appreciate the Iron Cliff v Iron Cliff games, you know, even if they shouldn't fight each other, you know. It's nice to see somebody on the battlefield at one time.
Stare at each other in stern silence. That I'm 3-10. I'm 5-10. I'm 13-10. I have frenzy.
Alright, now for the only unrequested games, because you and our friendly Brushy stole one of the requested games.
We did, yes.
We're gonna have a special with your boy Josh versus our friendly neighborhood Rockin', which I'm sure is a fan favorite. Nice, and I rolled well. I am on top of my coin flip game today. Riv would not stand a chance.
You win every time except the times when you lose.
Exactly. I believe Rockin's actually in the middle of playing a game right now for the MDL.
So how do you feel the ban list has actually worked out in this tournament compared to the last?
I've been happy with the ban list so far. I feel like we've seen a pleasant amount of pleasant amount of variety. I like the fact that although Titan has been the kind of deck that people were worried about, there's been plenty of counters to Titan. I mean, we just saw a Titan deck get beaten up by some beefy Iron Cliffs. But you know, it looks like there is a misfire game.
It kind of warmed my heart when Rift just said that he's playing Cypher lists, and like Cypher list has been doing very well.
That's true.
Because I think the Cypher as a general has always been a very interesting.
Yeah, no, we really have seen quite a bit of Cypheron in this new meta. Which I also like because back in the day, Zenrui was one of my faves. And
oh yeah, that's Zenrui meta.
You know, Zenrui was too good for this world, taken down by the evil that is Ray. But
that's not Ray's fault.
Actually, it specifically was. Wintermute referenced the fact that you could Ray onto a tile on 5 to get to 5 on 4 mana, and play as Zenrui is one of the reasons why Zenrui got nerfed to 6.
That was Slow's fault, not Ray's.
I don't know. It doesn't look good for the friendly neighborhood worm.
That's just all propaganda and fake news. Please donate to the Ray Did Nothing Wrong fund.
Everybody get your checkbooks out. Well, alright, now we've actually got the games set up, so let's hop into this Wanderer v Titan.
Ronald asks, isn't this supposed to be the week 5?
Oh, it is.
I don't
the
actually
week 5
know
cast.
because I'm a perv and I don't know how to count.
Yeah, I think Poncho brings up a good point that it might just be that your birdness makes you want to defend the worm because you like eating worms so much. You know, so maybe it's not even about Ray.
These are unfounded allegations that are not backed by concrete evidence, and if they are backed by evidence, it's all fake and made up.
Dang. Well, you heard it from Jim, resident burb and unbiased Ray enthusiast.
It's all backed by science and facts.
Well, speaking of...
Rockan is playing Reva Wanderer.
Yep. And they have a number of ways that they can deal with this Silver Guard. None of them particularly amazing. I mean, the Fizzling Mystic is at least an on-curve play. So I guess you just Fizzling Mystic and punch. I don't know if... Actually, what I like is Fizzling Mystic, kill the Silver Guard, and then Assassination Protocol, kill the Healing Mystic just to kind of dominate the board early. You can even play the Fizzling Mystic in such a way that you can like run it in front of the Healing Mystic and Josh wouldn't even be able to take a tile and clear it. I think that would have been a much stronger play this turn.
Yeah, definitely. You could have played on the center tile and get rid of the Knight, get rid of the Mystic, and then your boy will ramp 2 mana here.
Yeah.
It's just like the big thing.
No, and oh man, Josh can just play an Elix Stormblade if they want. Actually, no, they can't play Elix Stormblade and a Blood Tier, but that would have been just nuts against against a Wanderer deck. All right, Josh is not choosing to go for the Elix. They're choosing to just try and get like a hyper fast Titan. It looks like.
Not a huge fan.
Oh yeah, actually they could play the Elix and chat's right. They could have played the Elix and the Blood Tier. They just play the Blood Tier on the tile and then run into the other 2. But it does look like Josh wants to save at least 2 tiles for Titan next turn, which is a little greedy in some ways. But in this case, Rockin' doesn't actually have a way to deal with it. So.
Yeah, I would have been just happier to just play big minions against only high personal. I'm not
And one of the
super happy.
nice things about slamming an early Elix is actually that if they try and remove it with something like juxtaposition, uh, it well, it doesn't really get removed all that easily by juxtaposition because it can just let you run your minions like way
Yeah.
out. That being said, if you can slam a Titan before they can slam a Wanderer, that's speaking pretty well of your position, I think. Because even though the EMP is in hand, like that's not coming down for a few turns. Um,
Yeah, and if they have to play EMP for Wanderer, that's gonna be
yeah,
well. They can't ramp up to EMP anyway, but still, if they have to deal with your board over playing Wanderer, that's a huge boon to your.
yeah. No, and Rockin' really doesn't have. So actually, what Rockin' should do here is they should go Tatsu the Blood Tier and just play the Rocky, I think, to prevent ramping to Titan. Because Josh's positioning just screams, I am attempting to ramp into Titan. You know? They had access to
Yeah,
like
yeah.
6 mana last turn and chose to use one of it and position themselves with 2 extra. I I think just denying them that, you could develop a Heartseeker. Then you can develop your Wanderer before they're able to develop your. Oh, I don't like this. Actually, I only like this if they Assassination Protocol the Fizzling Mystic to again deny the Wanderer. Or not the Wanderer, the Titan.
But to be honest, if he did that, that would be a pretty heads-up play here, and like reading your opponent's hand. So that usually
Yeah.
doesn't tend to happen.
Although, what Rocket has done is they've disengaged themselves well from the Titan.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Um, because if Josh does play the Titan here, they can either use the Pando to go to grab the tile, they can move up, they can choose to kill the Fizzling Mystic, which takes a tick off. But I think it's probably correct. Alright, Josh is just slamming the Elix. I think I actually like this play better.
Yeah.
Yeah, just provoke the Heartseeker. You can play your Titan next turn.
Because Rocket didn't actually play any threats yet, so it's like playing Titan a bit earlier doesn't seem to make a huge difference.
Yeah. And now if they do just like try and play Wanderer, well, I guess you probably, if they play Wanderer, you probably just answer it with a Paragon. Don't even bother ramping to Titan and trading your Elix, like, whatever. You don't need to. You just want to build up a board.
Yeah, Wanderer kind of feels like a non-issue right now for
Yeah.
like even if he didn't have the Paragon here, he'd still like wouldn't care too much because he can just play Titan.
Yeah, but Titan's a little bit awkward because Argene is the only one that can walk onto the tile if Rockin' blocks it, like, right there. Okay. I don't hate this. It puts you down pretty far on life, but it lets you keep your Heartseeker and move it out of the way.
Still, once again, no actual threats on the board, so
Yeah.
it's really bad for Songhai.
Yeah, I actually don't like playing the Titan here. I like doing something like Blistering Scorn plus Healing Mystic. Yeah, I like Scorn plus Mystic here. Clear the Heartseeker. And then you'll set up for your Titan next turn. Josh deciding if they want to put 2 damage on the Tombstone or 2 damage into Reva's face here, it looks like.
But you always want to go face. I don't understand this play at all. Like, why do you want to hit the Tombstone? Because like Riva doesn't care about Tombstone.
Well, the
She
reason you want to
doesn't
hit the
pocket her.
Tombstone is because if they do play the Wanderer, you don't want it to just be gigantic.
Eh.
Like, the damage you get here is damage that isn't going back into your face and makes it easier to clear the Tombstone. later. Like if they play Wanderer here, like Wanderer plus BBS, you can play Titan, and now the scoring can just clear the Tombstone 1-1. So.
But you could like threaten 2 million lethal next turn, so.
It's true. Alright, Rockin is going for the Wanderer plus BBS. Josh doesn't actually have a way to sneak the Paragon where they want it outside of sacrificing their Scorn, but I think you just play Titan because even if they have the EMP, you have the Sunset Paragon to answer the EMP. Yeah, I like this. I like this play.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta play what you have, and if they have it, then they have it.
Yeah, but it's like not even that big a deal, you know? Because Scorn is just going to kill off the Wanderer, and then Mystic plus Argian is going to kill off the Tombstone, and then they're left with a Heartseeker that if they play EMP, it gets dispelled. Once again, you have the answer to the EMP in either just BBS kill it. Actually, no, you can't BBS kill it because it's an 8/8, because Wanderer has been played. But you have the Sunset Paragon, and they can't do anything else. They don't even have BBS up, and then you're so far ahead. They have 8 life. Actually, yeah, they're just dead if they play EMP, because they're at 8.
Yeah.
You have a 5/7. What am I even
It's
talking
kind
about?
of why I always prefer going face or like hitting the non-consequential minions, because that reduces the less the enemy has health, the less options they actually have.
Yeah, but the
answers.
Tombstone kind of counts as health because it has Provoke, and they wouldn't have been able to clear the
That's
Tombstone if they hadn't hit it last turn. I believe. No, they dealt 2 extra damage, so yes, they would have been able to clear the Tombstone. That's not true. Rafa would have been at 2 less life. But, you know, if they don't have the EMP here, you just win anyways. If they do, you win. I don't think there are many ways to lose this for Josh.
That's what I thought too once, and then I remember Yearboy saying that there's no way they can clear 3 artifacts, and then they did, and the second Titan was replaced.
Alright, well, this is lethal on board. Josh giving away unnecessary information like they play a very common Titan card. I suppose what this does do is it would have let Josh use Argian's face to punch Reva in the face, which would have been an acceptable reason to do that, but
You don't want to turn your hands on some filthy Reva.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, that seemed a pretty one-sided game.
Yeah. No. Although, it was one-sided, but it was kind of one-sided because Rockin allowed it to be one-sided. Like, I think that there are ways that Rockin could have played that early game, specifically the Fizzling Mystic turn, that really would have swung that tempo in a different way. And I think that Rockin just didn't sort of realize how necessary the tempo was in the early game, and Josh just, like, capitalized on that very heavily.
And Wanderer lists are... I don't play them often because Metrovin, but there are very like specific key points that you need to get to with the Wanderer cards, because if you don't get to there, like with the manas, or your opponent gets to develop board faster than you can, then you're just fighting an uphill battle afterwards.
Yeah.
And now that you're playing against Titan, who is also kind of doing the same thing, except they have stronger and better minions typically, so it's kind of...
Yeah, no, it's... This matchup is very much around who can maneuver the early game better. Because if either side is allowed to snowball, it just gets out of hand incredibly fast. So it's really not something where you want to play super conservatively, I think.
So what do you think is actually favored in this matchup, like decklist?
I think Titan is slightly favored, just because they do have the minions to deal with Wanderer, and since in the end Wanderer is just buffing minions, uh, like Titan is really good at clearing that if, you know, Titan is really good at clearing that if they don't just have like an overwhelming amount of minions on the other side. Like one of the things that I think they do have a lot of trouble with is against like Wanderer Reva, if you can land like an early key beholder and like killing edge it. Stuff that's just super out of the way, and you have to like just lumber your way across the entire battlefield to like play a Sunset Paragon or a Lightbender or something. So I think that's one of the ways that Reva can kind of do it. Ragnora can kind of get out of hand a bit if you're able to start building up eggs through Cryptographer and Bloodbound Mentor. So it's kind of like that. If you can get to your early-ish snowball thing, then you can kind of try and out snowball them early. But other than that, you've really just got to suppress them because you have enough ping to do that and enough good varied minions to do that. But let's see, we're going into game 2. As we see,
fairly even starts here.
Yeah, with Rockin going second once again. Though Josh has an Azurite line here, which is quite powerful, especially with the Arclight and Blood Tier. Just makes it very efficient at clearing early games, which, as we were talking about, snowballing this early game is so important.
But Rockin does have pretty good ways to get around that, like zero into Healing Mystic. You even have the Mistrack, whatever that 1 mana card is, I don't remember the name, but you can get your minions to deal with the Lion pretty.
Yeah, Assassination Protocol. I don't like the Bone Reaper replace here, actually. Bone Reaper is the kind of card that against Titan can actually just come out of nowhere and, wipe a board.
Yeah.
Especially with Reva, you can, BBS into Bone Reaper on, a very vulnerable area. Because, they're just trying to keep their minions alive. So...
Though, to be fair, both sides are trying to keep their minions alive.
Yeah, but that's why getting those sneaky hits in is so important, I think. Also, man, this is pretty rough because Josh can just clear Rockin's whole start, as well as throw a Silver Guard in their face if they want to.
Yeah.
Rockin will be able to return by killing the Fizzling Mystic. Or using the Fizzling Mystic to kill the Azurite Lion.
Yeah, but even sneak the Blood Tier Alchemist out there, so...
Yeah. And yeah, I like placing the Silver Guard here because it allows you to go into Tigris next turn, even if they remove the Azurite Lion. I have to say, playing Silver Guard Knight as a 1/5 is I think one of the subtlest things about it. Where, sometimes you just want a 1/5 provoke in a better place, and you just don't play it near you. And
I mean, it's 1/5 provoke, you just cannot escape it at 4 mana, so it's a very effective stalling card.
Yeah.
I mean, it used to be the backbone of liner, this, but it's definitely backing.
Yeah. Josh... Are they choosing to be greedy and try and save this tile for Titan? Because I think I just like running out this Tigris. You can get an 100% on killing the Fizzling Mystic with the Tigris. I think you do that. You can even buff the Tigris next turn. Oh, they're... Okay, they are going to get the 100% on killing the Fizzling Mystic. I was like, wow, are they actually leaving a guy alive?
Well, Airboy said he was trying to play around Thunderbomb, so that's probably the thinking process.
Gotcha.
I think we don't finish this.
I mean, you can play around Thunderbomb. You just play the Tigress in front of the Blood Tier. But you also want to be able to, like, roar the Tigress, and also, who really cares about Thunderbomb?
I missed a one-off.
Well, it's a one-of, also it doesn't kill it, you know? Like, it deals 5.
Oh, Rocken doesn't seem to have a lot of gray. Too many. But he has a very good option
Yeah.
with the good old Kron.
Yeah, Karn is really nice, especially because you can play it below, which prevents the Cub from being able to hit. Kind of unfortunate spawn. Lost the 50-50 there, because now the Cub has a 50-50 on being able to kill the 2-2. Although actually, does it have better than 50-50 if Josh attacks second? I don't know how the Cub spawning... Well, no, because the Tigress would be dead if Josh attacks second. Never mind.
Well, I guess they'll clear both minions with the Tigress anyway. Like roar the Tigress and...
Yeah. Okay, and they could Healing Mystic the Tigress, which would keep it alive, but would mean they couldn't Arclight Sentinel the 2-2. Which I think means what you do here is first you attack with Argian? Actually, no, what am I talking about? Cubs can't move 3 spaces. The 2-2 is safe from... I'm an idiot, don't worry, don't worry.
This is why it's called the early bird stream.
Yeah.
They're both on the bird frequency.
It's been all this, like, 2 p.m. Pacific time the past few weeks, but this week we're up and at it. 10:30. Alright, Josh chooses to... Okay, Josh actually does find the line where the Cub can kill the 2-2, and they get to keep their Tigress alive as a 4-1, so... Oh, actually, that was really pretty, yeah. No, I like that. Josh was lamenting this line in chat, but I like this line. I think it was well played.
All I see is the numbers on the board, and the numbers are bigger than Reva's, so I think it's a fine trade.
Yep.
So do you still get the feeling when you plop down Kron, like that kind of like a happy feeling, even now that they killed Steve?
Yeah, no, I definitely get that feeling. I love New Kron. Also, this is a really pleasant Dancing Blades to kind of retake the tempo, doing what Dancing Blades does best. You know, you can get your BBS off. Just Dancing Blades the Silverguard Knight, punch the Tigress, play a Heartseeker, like, out of range by... Rockin'! That is not the right place to play your Dancing Blades! Come on, man! What have we been talking about? You've gotta kill their board. You aren't gonna beat Titan like this. Rockin', my guy.
That was like a perfect 3-3 there, just like
I know.
making to be Dancing Blades.
And it's like Rockin's just afraid for their health, but your health really doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to beat Titan. You even had the EMP last time, and you let too much damage go to your face.
Now, like a 5-3 provoke, you're just taking 10 damage instead.
Yeah, and Josh now gets to put 1,000,000 minions on board. You're going to have no board. They're going to have a Titan the next turn. And, yeah. That's the story. No, that's why you had to clear that 3-3, because then they wouldn't have been able to clear the Heartseeker. You would have cleared out, like... Actually, maybe they would have been able to clear the Heartseeker with the Sentinel still. But still, you wouldn't be under provoke, you know, you'd have a bit more play.
Yeah, that was a massive blunder, I think.
Yeah, but this is...
Playing it too overcautiously.
There's just nothing that Wanderer Eva can do here, except watch as Titan comes down. And Josh even has the backup Titan. So, if the EMP came down, it would just come down into a second Titan.
I mean, to be fair, now Hero Boy will need to have like 3 2-mana minions that do nothing for like 3. That's how you get back into this game.
Yeah. Rockin does manage to save their minions going into this Titan turn by preventing the Pado from moving. But I don't think it'll be enough. This is, 11, 13 damage this turn. They go to 7. Alright, so now even if Rockin can EMP into Mana Vortex second self EMP, Josh still has the backup. Rockin also somehow survives in this scenario.
How do you have 3 Titans here?
You know.
That's just mean. I mean, it's Rocket, but still, like, come on, man.
Now the real question we've got to ask ourselves here is, will Josh go for the BM and slam an additional Titan on the turn that they win? Provided that Rocket doesn't concede here, do we get to see multi-Titan, or do they just close it out?
Won't the real BM be like play second Titan and then?
So that's actually, I think, the correct thing for Rustcrawler to have hit. Alright, we're actually gonna need to see the second Titan, which is admittedly less interesting, but, you know, what you gonna do? Alright, Rockin' is making a valiant effort here.
That was a very good comeback. What if Josh didn't have like a second Titan here? Would he still be swinging?
Yeah, I'm not sure. This is an interesting position for Josh, because that Heartseeker with the Deathstrike seal is fairly annoying in conjunction with the key beholder, because they are actually able to like take out these minions. Like I don't think they'll be able to hold on much longer, but it's certainly been irritating. I think Rockin' can hold out for one more turn, because they can kill the Titan with the Deathstrike seal. Then they can play, like, Wanderer, Blood Tier, BBS, just to, like, put guys in between.
Wake Up also got rid of the artifacts there, but that will put you on like 2 health.
Yeah. Oof, they replaced the... Yeah, they replaced into Gotatsu, which does not do very much. And yeah, this is just lethal because of the Repulsor Beast being able to clear the Titan. Or not the Titan, the Wanderer. And then you just roar up the Panda or Arclight, your choice.
To be fair, the Wanderer looks exactly the same as Titan.
They are both tall minions, yes. They both come down as 7/7s.
They both have blue cloaks.
Yeah.
They have gold in.
Yeah, they've got some gold, though. Titan certainly got a bit more. Yeah,
Maybe
right.
Wanderer is actually Titan unmasked.
Or maybe Titan is just Wanderer bound to Lionar.
Hmm.
You never know.
I wish we had more lore so we could get to the bottom of.
Of who Wanderer is and how their wandering stopped when they were taken prisoner by Argene and forced into an alabaster suit. You know, we make our own lore here. But all right. That's our second game of the day, and for our final one, we've got good ol' Rivrath versus Mango Senior, the Elder Mango. Who is in fact blood related to our beloved Poncho / Smarmy Mango.
There's too many mangoes. I don't even know how to keep that.
There's two, Jim.
Too many.
Two is too many. Burb does not approve. Ray can only count to 0.
And 1. 0 and 1.
0 and 1. You know, if Ray could actually count to 1, if it cost 1, it probably wouldn't have to be banned.
What if Ray had 0 attack? It would just want to cuddle you.
Cuddly Ray.
I mean, it just gets scared when it's plopped down in the middle of all these big guys and would just want to kill it.
So, a battle pet with 0 attack would actually be kind of interesting. Thinking about it, because it wouldn't attack now.
Yeah.
And so it would actually be like a wall that your opponent would just be able to kite around. Ooh, we're gonna get to see possibly some Zendo out of Mango Senior, which I feel like is a card we haven't seen in quite a while. Since the nerf down to 3 attack. Although I feel like this is actually for reasons other than people being worried that Vath is going to be too harsh on it, as I don't quite think I've seen all that much Vath. But
there was actually that. Livern was actually playing Vath.
I mean, Livern always plays Vath, but aside from Livern, I don't believe Livern being the only player who plays Vath is quite the indicator.
Well, there are facts and then there are numbers, and that does learn. So you go as you go.
Yeah, you definitely do go as you go. Alright, so Riv quickly applying additional pandas to the battlefield. Or maybe not. Throwing down a Spelljammer. And they might even misdragon the Spelljammer. Okay, no, they're misdragoning the Blood Tier into the Jammer? Yeah, into an out of reach Jammer. And this is an instance where I actually do like taking mana tiles, because Helios is definitely able to use early mana to do some pretty powerful stuff.
So Riverheart is a player that always plays the best deck in the game, so do you think Riva is the best deck in the game right now? I mean, she has 3 pandas right now, so take that in consideration.
Riv is quite good at drawing pandas, and there is no superior Mirage to punish the pandas here. But I don't know that I think Riva is the strongest deck in the game right now, even with bans. I think that people are still playing a ton of ping effects as we look at Riv's hand, and there are 4 sources of ping. And then look at Mango Senior's hand and see at least 1. So I don't know that I feel like playing Heartseekers is the best thing you can be doing at the moment. Then again, I guess I am biased against Songhai. So.
To be careful, who isn't?
Oh, I've heard a few. You know, there's people to be biased against every faction.
Oh, there's the Zendo guy.
Yep. Zendo and a Cobra Strike to clear out the poor little Kaido assassin before it even got to assassinate anyone.
But that's the story of Kaido Assassin.
Yeah. Even as it got to be a 2-3.
Like, to be honest, if Kaido Assassin survives and actually backstabs, something has gone wrong. Horribly wrong at some point.
Yeah, no. Alright. Blister and Scorn coming down, clearing out the Heartseeker, trying to save Mango Sr. a little bit of life by body blocking.
Yeah, I don't think it's a huge deal to the Blister and Scorn for a refresh. You can just do like whatever, just back off and play the Geomancer that wants to geographically answer being thing of fire or something.
Yep. And Riv playing that Geomancer pretty dang aggressively. So I actually think I don't like the Kron here. I think what I like is I like just playing the Zendo out of reach. Just like, you know, trade your Blistering Scorn into the Geomancer. I mean, I guess playing Zendo just on its own is dangerous because you do know that they play Cobra Strike.
Yeah, but
I think that, you know, like, if Zendo survives and then you Killing Edge Mist Dragon Seal it, that's, what? 16 damage the following turn? Alright, well, there's the Phoenix Fire, so they would have actually been able to clear it. But still.
But Kron is a pretty big stat stick, and you still like get a million out of it. So.
Yeah. Alright, Riv going for the double panda special here. And with quite a bit of out-of-hand damage, too. With the, everything in their hand dealing damage.
do you actually do anything here, or do you just play Gendo and back off?
I don't know. I also don't like replacing before.
Well, that clears the board, I guess.
But that's the issue, is it clears the whole board, because these pandas are not, you know, they don't mind taking a hit or two from Flame Wreath.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, this is a very tricky turn to think through, because there's a lot of numbers and a lot of effects and a lot of twos.
Yeah.
So Ponsumango saying that this was terrible is, I think, fine.
This is pretty rough. I mean, the Pando can clear the Kron, the Phoenix Fire can clear the Kron. Like, Mango Senior just doesn't have all that much here. Like, they technically have a lot of stats on board, but Riv's just got the ways to deal with it. Or just put damage into their face if they really want to, you know?
Yeah.
Like, how much damage does Riv have this turn? Mist Dragon Seal, so that's like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Does Riv have lethal this turn? 2, 6, 7.
Yeah, I think he's counting it right now.
Yeah, Riv is counting. I'll let Riv do the math. But yeah, like, worst case scenario here, the battle for Riv. Battle Pando just takes out both Kron and the prisoner. Alright, it looks like Riv didn't have lethal here.
But he's trying very hard. So he's leaving the Kron alive up there. just to go face.
Yeah.
Which I totally approve, by the way. Like, he's banking on the fact that Mango Senior has like no way of getting lethal.
Yeah.
There's no way he can get rid of that Battle Panda easily.
No, there isn't. And even if there was, they've got Phoenix Fire coming up next turn, plus a Tusk War, plus Juxtaposition. So, like, even if they Eternity Painter or something, just Tusk War, Phoenix Fire, easy. If they hurt the Pando at all, then Phoenix Fire is lethal. So even like a Death Strike Seal or something doesn't really do much.
Yeah.
Chat appears to have worked out that Riv was 1 mana off of lethal. Poncho brings up the good fact here that Mana Vortex killing a Zendo Rush Prisoner was lethal on this turn.
Okay, yes.
So there was an out, provided that Mango Senior was playing Mana Vortex in this deck. For those clutch games. Which, if Mana Vortex was old Mana Vortex, it might not actually be so crazy to assume. The old cantrip version.
Yeah, it was like in every deck. I remember. Just Mana Vortex, everything, and it's just...
Well, I mean, at that point, it is just a tempo card. It's not like a spell synergy. I mean, obviously, it's best when it has spell synergy, but it could also be used if you're wanting to play tempo. It's free. It just makes things cost less.
I mean, people didn't even play for the spells, it was just for the tempo. And also the fact that your opponent will have a lot more difficult time calculating mana and their opponent's odds and so on forth. And my opponents, they're always on fire, so I'm a bit biased at this point.
So you're saying, unlike Ray, that nerf was justified?
Exactly.
Well, I guess Ray didn't get nerfed. Ray got banned. It's different.
Ray did nothing wrong. Defense one, 2019. Let's make it.
Let's unban Ray. Alright. We're almost ready to get into game 2 here.
If we get 5 bits, I will make online petition to unban Ray.
Yeah, if we can get like 3,000 signatures, I'll unban Ray. How's that sound?
I'll make it happen.
Alright.
I'm sure everybody will be named Jim, but I think that will not be.
3,000 instances of Jim and like 1 spammer noob. Alright. Oh, hey, Mango is playing Onyx Jaguar. Always a fun addition. Alright, there's a wild
The army of bandos. So how do you sideboard against the Rift's list? I actually don't know what kind of list Mango is playing. It seems to be just good stuff somehow.
Yeah, I will say I don't think I would put Onyx Jaguar in against a Geomancer list, I gotta say.
But isn't like Onyx Jaguar like one of the bigger threats Kalios has access to? Like if you're not playing Jaguar, you don't.
It is, but at the same time, like, your opponent is playing Phoenix Fires, and it does just die to that if you can't play it early. That being said, Wild Tar into MDS killing it is not bad. Not bad, as some kids would say.
It's kind of like slow roasted bacon.
Yeah.
Without bacon.
Slowly roasted, but the bacon fat gristle is definitely spewing everywhere in a frenzy.
And as typical, Songhai doesn't have like usually too many clean answers to the
Yeah.
big minions. Duskbur into
Oh
Crescent
man,
Spear.
Riv is choosing
That's-
to take 10.
That's pretty ballsy.
That is. I think I would have just played. Oh, actually, no, you can't. Riv was doing that because Kalios' BBS was up next turn. They literally had to do that. And it looks like our other game actually finished first, and well.
I mean, Rift took 6 damage that turn.
Yeah.
It was like 6 health, sorry.
Yeah, that's game. Yeah, so how do you sideboard against it? Well, you play a big ass idiot and deal 1,000,000 damage early. I guess that's one argument to be made.
Good old Wild Tar. I distinctly remember there was a period when people said that was not good.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, it's not a card that's just everywhere. It's not like, oh, nerf Wild Tar or anything, but it's certainly far from unplayable,
And also people misplay against it a lot because they don't realize how the triggers work. If they haven't played before. And even still, you have the tendency to think that it's only 4 or 3 or whatever, and then you attack it with your minions, and then suddenly you're like, oh.
Yeah. No, it gets out of hand pretty quick. And it's also easy to just, miss-sequence, Like, queue up a minion attack and then being like, oh crap, I just took a Phoenix Fire to the face for no reason. I'm still waiting to see the time, though, where somebody punishes a Wild Tar by, doing a bunch of attacks, getting to the point where it would almost kill him, put him to 1 life, and then just mind lathe into the tar and kill the opponent. Things I have never seen, but I really hope to one day.
I think there was I once stole Wild Tar, and then my opponent just kept misplaying into that thing. It was like a 13 something.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just get somebody who doesn't read the card, and Wild Tar punishes people for not reading the card more than most. Alright, heading into game 3. Mango Sr. has not elected to take out the Onyx Jaguar. Alrighty, let's get started. I should move off the Azure Herald.
I think River has toggled this developer option to always draw 2 Pandos in hand. Just in case.
Just in case. I mean, I've got to be on the honor system here. That Riv isn't taking advantage of anything. I can also say that, as far as I know, working at Counterplay, there isn't options to inject yourself into the game. Mycroft, it is Jim who is casting with me today.
Hello.
Yeah, Jim the Legend, and part of our usual meme cast crew, which thanks
the
to
poop cast.
Yeah, the poop cast, as you call yourselves. But seriously though, thanks very much to both you and Zabby for doing that. I really appreciate having more people casting games.
Yeah, I figured I wanted to do it last season, but I was playing, so I never had time. But
yeah,
it's really nice casting with Zap has been a lot of fun doing the Crushy project.
Meanwhile, Zab not only having the time to cast, but also having time to crush the entire tournament.
Well, he's the current master around things. So.
Yeah, but I think Zab this week pulled up to 15-0 in matches. Zab is our remaining undefeated halfway through the tournament. They have not lost a single match. Not to downplay the players right here, but that is pretty unprecedented, I think. I don't think there were any 15-0s last time in week 5.
Yeah, it's pretty respectable, I think.
And I think they've played like 4 different lists over those 5 weeks too, so not even just like X list OP.
But I think that also plays to his benefit because people don't expect Scar-Chick lists.
Yeah.
They expect Titan, they expect Rima, they expect whatever else, not but guy comes with Scar-Chick and I don't know how to play it.
Definitely, but you really have to be experienced to be able to not only play multiple decks, but build multiple decks. Like, it's not something that's easy to do, I'll tell you that much.
Also, especially weird archetype.
Yeah, no. Riv getting a pretty nice clear here on both the on both minions.
But he's running super long cards here, so it's not very promising, right? Oh, yes, Spiral.
Oh yeah, that's actually pretty hard because in, well, I guess the first game, not so much the second one, which ended in like 2 turns, but the first game, you know, Mango Senior did kind of start to be able to run away a bit. So getting that last 8 damage is not insignificant. So many pandas.
I think like in every single game they played all their pandas on the board.
No, in game 2, Riv couldn't play their second panda because it would have killed them to do so.
And that's why he lost the game.
Yep, that's true, that's true. Not being willing to die is really what gets you. Alright, Riv does have a clear here, although that panda on panda action is not making it necessarily pretty. Because they do lose their panda, their Spelljammer goes to 1. You know, like, this Scorn is not bad.
No.
And they can technically leave that second Spelljammer alive and just run away from it.
Yeah, I don't think this is... I'm not sure why Riff decided to play there, to be...
I think it's just that Riv is on, like, is pretty low on cards.
So he really wants to make sure it stays alive.
Yeah. It's interesting that they could have chosen to not attack with their Crescent Spear, which would have lost them damage, but because of the Scorn, it's actually going to lose more damage to have attacked with it. Also, man, imagine if there was an Assassination Protocol here. You could have just actually cleared the board. I mean, I guess you're, like, 11 life, and looking at Riv's hand, being at 11 life is not a great place to be. I don't know how I feel about playing that Blistering Scorn back. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter with Kalios. They've got movement effects. But it does mean you have to use some of these movement effects on it, whereas playing it 1 forward would have allowed it to pressure Reva.
Maybe he's just like thinking that maybe Reva is gonna play Phoenix Fire or something, or I don't know. Just want to put more damage on.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I think he didn't want to milk a card, maybe.
Yeah. And Zabby...
So,
what's up, Jim?
Carry on.
Oh, I was just going to say, Zabby was talking about the difference in damage if you had played versus not playing the Crescent Spear. And they were talking about how, you know, if they hadn't attacked Mango, then Mango probably wouldn't have attacked them back. But the other thing to think about is that since they drew into the Cobra Strike would have been able to kill the Blistering Scorn, and the Phoenix Fire then could have gone face as well.
Mm.
So it's actually weirder math than I think it initially appears. And Mango not playing a play that would beat a spiral technique here. So I think this bacon's about to be roasted.
Yeah. But to be fair, not a whole lot you can do.
Yeah, I mean, you just saw your opponent's last turn was Cobra Strike Phoenix Fire, so it's not like you're in a a great position at 8 health against the deck trying to deal that much direct damage. There's Roof with the well played.
Good old song IDM.
Not even getting in the attack with the Heartseeker to pump the pigs. You know, where's the deliciousness in bacon if you don't just make sure it's got all that nice fat? But yeah, all in all, some actually pretty quick weeks. We had two 2-0s, plenty of burst damage between spiral techniques, Wild Tars, Iron Cliff Guardians.
Yeah, that was something. That's good. Pretty even matchups anyway. Like you have Titan versus Fake Titan, and then Iron Cliffs versus Iron Cliffs, and then Songhai versus.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was which is kind of ironic since there were so many 2-0s.
Yeah.
Well, I guess so many I say, but 2 out of 3 were 2-0s. But yeah,
And a lot of those games we casted today, I think it mostly came down to skill and not to pull through better, which I think also explains why there were so many 2-0s.
yeah, no, there's definitely a bit of outplaying going on, as well as some rough starts. Like I think the second game where Squee just didn't draw anything lower than a 4-drop, and then had to play like a Blood Tear as their turn 2 was just rough. Provided that we were blind, which I am willing to give the benefit of the doubt on. But yeah, no, overall some fun stuff. But yeah, halfway through the season, and nobody has yet to dethrone the king, who is your co-caster.
Brushy.
Yep, brushy. Will anyone be able to touch them come the second half? Find out over the next 5 weeks. Same place.
I have this feeling that I will lose MDL, might not have the chance.
Well, I will lose MDL. Well, I will win MDL. They took at least one more loss this week. I noticed they lost to Stoic Roosters, so they, they're fallen behind in this foot race towards glory. But I believe they're still in a pretty hearty second place, and they actually dropped their Wanderer Xerix this week. So I don't know if I can say what they're playing because I'm not positive they finished all 3 games at this point. But Atheist, it was so early today because our good co-caster Jim is a burb who lives in Eastern
10
Europe.
p.m.
So 10 p.m. is 10 a.m. for me. Or I guess at this point it's noon for me. But yep. No, so thank you, Jim, for coming. And again, thank you to both you and Zabby for doing the unofficial poop cast.
On which point I wanted to say, please keep throwing your games at us. Especially the poop one.
No, throw games at both casts, because
Or I will personally come to your inbox and scream at you.
Yeah. Also, since it is week 5, since I've been so bad about it, uploading these to YouTube, I missed week 1, that recording got lost, but I have weeks 2 through 5, which I'm going to upload as a batch, so anyone who's missed any of the Meltdown League casts will be able to watch them. So I'll try and do that quickly. But yep, thank you everybody, Until next week, we are signing off.
Goodbye.